This morning, we're giving a voice to victims as a mother and father fight for justice for their daughter, who was found stabbed some 20 times inside of her Philadelphia apartment. Ellen Greenberg's fiance made the discovery back in 2011. Her death was ruled a homicide, but then was changed to suicide, which her family has never believed. Now, there are new reports that the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania is getting involved and seeking documents and information relating to Ellen's case. So could this finally lead to justice for Ellen and her parents? I want to welcome in now Ellen's mom and dad, Dr. Josh Greenberg and his wife, Mrs. Sandee Greenberg. Good morning to you both. On behalf of everyone at Court TV, we are so sorry for your loss, and we thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. I want to start. Oh, please, Dr. Greenberg.
Okay, I don't want to misquote anybody. So let's start off right. The federal government investigation is about corruption, not about Ellen. We are hopeful, though, because we have only asked for two things through the whole ordeal: a unbiased investigation led by an unbiased leader. So the investigation the federal government is making is about corruption in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. If it slides, becomes that, it sort of slides into what we've asked for, would be those two issues, the investigation and the leadership. I just like to be as accurate as I can. I don't want to say anything that might, I don't know, I might be wrong. I don't want the federal government to think that Ellen's case is taking precedent over everything else. No, this is about the whole state and the whole city. Thank you very much. Let's go on.
Understood. Okay, and essentially, if there's an investigation as to whether or not the agencies were handling things properly, that could potentially lead to Ellen's death being re-examined, which is obviously what you're wishing for. I want to go back to that day with you both, the day in question. We're going back to 2011. It's a snowstorm. Ellen had just got done with school. Was she planning to leave her fiancé that day?
I have no idea. She went, after she cleaned off her car, she went and filled up her car with a full tank of gas, then came home, and then everything gets very murky because all we're able to do is rely on Sam's voice, and we haven't really had, a lot of communication, and so many details have been withheld from us from the police and the building. There's suddenly missing camera footage, and they won't let us see the guest log, and things don't add up, and but based on photographs and other interviews from other experts in the past 15 years, we've been able to put enough together to kind of have things figured out. And this was definitely not a suicide.
I'm going to react to Can I react to your question?
Please, yes.
There were two things that we saw that we felt signaled maybe she was leaving finally. Now, we believe she was a victim of abuse, and if you know anything about abuse, she's a victim, she thinks she's a victim, and she's not willing to leave the master, so to speak. I don't know what the right words are. But two things. Number one, the engagement ring was on her night table, not on her finger. And number two, we think we see the stacking of her makeup and
Toiletries.
Toiletries and makeup. To a woman, first of all, I found out how much that cost. I never knew that. But second of all, to a woman, it's almost a part of her. It's like her hair is another animal that she takes care of, if you know what I'm saying. And I don't mean to be derogatory. I'm just telling you, there were things that led us to believe maybe she was finally leaving. And like Sandee, I don't know, you said the gas tank thing, right?
Yes.
That she had filled up the gas tank during the storm. So you can take over now. I'm sorry. I've interrupted twice now. I'm going to keep quiet.
Dr. Greenberg, don't be sorry. We want to hear all of this because we had heard that she had a bag packed that night ready to go. Was this what you're referencing, the toiletry bag, or was it a larger suitcase, duffel bag?
A stack of toiletries on her bed, which was neatly made underneath that stack of items. And as I said, I'm under the impression that to a woman, that's gold, or maybe even something more than gold.
Sure.
I don't know. You can see I'm not a makeup man.
Well, we know at autopsy, one of the things that I found to be very telling was that her body had bruises all over it that were in various stages of healing, indicating that they didn't necessarily come from the event in question, but could have been on her body leading up to this point. What did you think when you heard that?
What?
I was devastated. I wasn't familiar with domestic violence, and I was crushed.
Although it was not investigated, I think it was noted in her first autopsy that this is consistent with violent abuse.
It's in the pictures, even though we haven't seen the autopsy pictures. We have seen from other podcasts or videos the isolated areas where he had bruising.
We had chosen so far not to look at those pictures.
I can certainly understand why. Have you ever had an opportunity to ask Ellen's fiance if he knows how she got those bruises?
No.
I'm glad you're hitting on the bruises, because I think it wasn't stressed enough in this whole matter. And I think Philadelphia should be aware that we think there's a killer and a female abuser loose in Philadelphia, or wherever he or she may now live. But they didn't do an investigation on the bruises and other things. But the bruises, really, for me now, since we're talking about that, they never really followed up to see who did that, just because she had passed away. So I'm glad you brought that up, seriously.
Did Ellen ever indicate to you that she was afraid of her fiance?
No.
What did he have to say to you after Ellen's death?
Very little. Very, very little. The family came to the funeral, and then it's customary to sit Shiva, where we gather and
Tell stories about Ellen.
And they chose not to join us, which I also find.
Because there are certain things we don't quite understand and nobody seems to be able to explain, we are putting out our hands to Mr. Goldberg and or his family to meet with us and share with us in the investigation and answer some questions about, because we don't understand what he was doing outside for so long, the apartment before he went in. Sandee, what was?
Why he sent such angry texts? Why did he acknowledge that she was flat on her back when she was found seated up against the cabinets? And questions about the lock, the inside lock, not really being disturbed.
So there are things that only he can answer for us and clear up. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you both about that because it seems that investigators largely hung their hat on two things: that the lock appeared to be latched from the inside, or at least they were under the impression that that was so, and that Ellen didn't have defensive wounds anywhere on her body.
She did, though.
Tell me.
Yeah.
There were marks around her wrists that when they did around the neck and they pulled the strap muscles up, they could see a fingernail print in her neck. And the first person to arrive at the scene was, when they called 911, the guy went upstairs, he came downstairs, he told the front desk, you have a homicide upstairs. And that man, who was identified by News Nation, Brian Enton, was never interviewed by the police. In 15 years, the Philadelphia police never even spoke to him, got a report, nothing.
He was also a EMT that was experienced. He was not a kid, so he knew what he was looking at, and he'd seen these types of scenes before. There were two other areas that showed signs of abuse or restraint. Both wrists were very badly injured, like somebody had held their wrists, whatever. And so the police weren't quite accurate in their summation.
This is exactly why we wanted to have this conversation. Dr. and Mrs. Greenberg, stand by kindly, please. We're going to hit a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a closer look at Ellen Greenberg's mysterious death and talk about some opinions about it that have been given by some of the world's most renowned experts.
Did an affair lead to double murder?
The Commonwealth's Attorney's Office has secured an indictment against Brendan Banfield for the murder of his wife, Christine, and the murder of Mr. Ryan.
Prosecutors allege the defendant planned to run away with the family's au pair. So he killed his wife and another man.
He was there, I'm gonna kill her, I'm gonna kill her.
It's a case of sex, lies, and deadly deception.
The Au Pair Affair murder trial. Live coverage today on Court TV.
We continue to be a voice for victims for Ellen Greenberg, a 27-year-old teacher who was stabbed to death in her apartment in Philadelphia. Her death was ruled a suicide. And there's a possibility now that the federal government could be looking into her case as they're investigating the way things are being handled among agencies in Philadelphia. And we're speaking with Ellen's parents this morning. I want to welcome back in Dr. and Mrs. Josh Greenberg. I want to pick up right where we left off, talking about your opinions and how this occurred. And I want to ask you about how it might have felt when you had opinions from two of the world's most renowned experts, Dr. Cyril Wecht and Dr. Henry Lee, weighing in on this case and believing that a homicide occurred, not a suicide. That must provide a tremendous amount of validation for you, I would think, with the sentiments and suspicions you've had all along. Talk to us about that, please.
That really gave us the fuel to go ahead. Dr. Wecht wrote a report, suspicious of homicide, but he also discussed what the current situation of suicide or taking of your own death is. And if you go and look it up or go on a search, women don't stab themselves anymore. They go for painless ways of passing. And that really ignited us to say what the H is going on here and to move along. We have invested quite a bit of our life savings in the investigation we've had between lawyers and special things we learned, like we have a computerized rendition of all the knife wounds and how deep they were and their angulation and where they were. Sandy? Don't want to add anything. So it really started with us being suspicious, but confirming the suspicions with Dr. Wecht. And as you said, I mean, he was involved in the Kennedy's assassination, doing investigative work for the government, what have you. He was a big shot in the field. He knew what he was doing. Maybe big shot's not a good word. He was a respected authority.
Yes.
We also had Tom Brennan on our side, who had many, many years of experience in this type of thing, and he's been with us, you know, almost from the get-go. And he works hand in hand with Dr. Wayne Ross in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania, who's very, very accomplished. And then also Dr. Joseph Scott Morgan
With Nancy
Grace.
Yes, we know him.
So
He's a frequent guest with us. Yes.
Yeah, and so these people are all highly accomplished and very well respected amongst the public and amongst their peers.
Yes.
If you just look at numbers of what the general public thought, it's like 100 or 1,000 to 1 that people didn't believe that this was a suicide. The authorities in Philadelphia may have believed it, but like there was a website that we had asking for the investigation, we had 175,000 people
Sign a petition.
online and with no motivation. They weren't paid to do that or anything, and that's quite a big number.
Yes, it is. Ellen's case has garnered so much renewed interest with the Hulu series, as you both know. I have to ask, has anyone from her fiance's family reached out to you after that?
No.
But we are, as I think I said, we are asking them to help us go move further, because there are things that just Sam would know, if people in his family may know, that we don't know, that we can't put our finger on, and our experts can't put their finger on. So we really want to know what's going on. We really want justice for our daughter.
I know you do. Why was his uncle in the apartment taking control of property that belonged to Ellen?
That's a fabulous question. I would love to know. I mean, the man signed his name in the funeral book, but when it came to looking me straight in the eye, we never made eye contact. I think needs to be looked into a little more thorough.
The known reason for him being there was to get Sam a suit for the funeral. But he did walk out with Ellen's private computers, plural, her car keys. Sandee, you're familiar.
Her handbag, her things. He never had permission from us, and I don't care what kind of alibi he has that the police told him. That property was ours, not theirs.
He never said that, to the best of my knowledge, Sandee. Did he say that to you?
I heard through the grapevine he's now saying that.
Well.
What's the uncle's name, please?
James Schwartzman.
Esquire.
And, he's an attorney. Okay, James Schwartzman.
Yes. I think he's also a minor judge.
Okay. And then the other person's name I wanted to get from you, please. You said there was someone in the apartment who was a witness initially before first responders got there.
I don't know that person's name. If you watch the News Nation interview with Brian Enton,
he found him.
They found him.
Okay. Yeah. We would love to speak with him, certainly, and would love to talk with James Schwartzman as well. Dr. and Mrs. Greenberg, we wish you all the best, and we hope we can continue the conversation, as this isn't the first time we've talked about Ellen's case, and it certainly won't be the last. Every good wish, love, and prayers as you continue this fight for justice, and please let us know if you hear any developments with the talk of this federal investigation into the city. And as we head to break, we want to keep remembering Ellen Greenberg. She was so beautiful, had her whole life ahead of her. She was making a difference for young people in the community. She was a school teacher, 27 years old, way too young when she left this earth. Let's hope that her family gets the answers that they deserve after all these years.